I am live. Just a minute late. The girls here at Ellie's actually just made a cute little snowman outside and then came and asked me to take a picture of them. So, yeah, just whacked my elbow on the counter. Hopefully, you are doing well. It's a nice little winter wonderland out there. You probably can't see, but let me see actually how much snow is posted. That doesn't tell me. Okay. How much fallen in Mount Shasta, 2023. So this one actually is a news report that said that overnight, on one of the nights during the storm, there was 2 feet, and then there was another 3 to 5 inches supposed to come the next day. So yeah, I'm not really sure. But anyways, I recently went down to San Diego to visit some family friends. And so I actually missed the snowstorm completely and came back to this wintry wonderland. My time in San Diego, well, the weather was really bad. It was like raining the whole time. And on my way home, there was a lot of different places on the highway that were flooded. So I kept having to get off of I-5 is usually what I just jump on I-5 and take it all the way up from north to South California. I don't know. I almost said Carolina, but I'm originally from Ohio and I have family that lives in South Carolina. So anyways, I kept having to get off of I-5. So I ended up taking I think it was 101 and I drove up the coast instead of towards the middle where I usually go. So it was really nice that I got to drive along the flat ocean for like miles and miles and miles. It's just really, really flat for days. And then also went through like some parts were mountains, snowy covered mountains and all of this stuff. So it was really an enjoyable trip, but I wanted to get some footage of this really, really large CAFO on my way home. And because of all these detours, I wasn't able to do that. So I will have to wait on that. But as I was driving down, I was like trying to take notice of any of them that I saw because I didn't know what exit that the CAFO was off of. But I really didn't realize how many there were. It was just like, I would pull up my phone really quick and kind of record a video of the CAFO and mention what exit that I was passing so that when I got to my destination, I could pull up the map and actually plan out my trip. And anyways, tons and tons of CAFOs. It's just like, they say that happy cows come from California, and no, they really don't. These cows are not happy at all, and the living conditions that they are in are absolutely evil. Like, humans want to talk about. I've got to kind of walk on eggshells when I talk about this subject, but a certain event that happened during one of the world wars where humans were all put into confined areas. And we humans tend to focus on these events as a tragic, whether you believe it or not, whether it happened, like, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying that these conditions that we are horrified by seeing our fellow humans or even thinking about our fellow humans being in, even worse for the animals. And it wasn't just a one-time event. Like, they are born and raised and killed in these CAFOs, and it's been going on for thousands of years. So I'm going to get some footage of it, but I was not able to, unfortunately, this time. Hi, Kyle. How's it going? David D says, looking really beautiful. Thank you. David says, a CAFO is the most evil humans can be to the innocent. Yes, it is absolutely. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but I actually pulled up this picture of the area on the map to show Kyle and Sage the area that I wanted to get off of. These circled spots are all CAFOs, I know that these front ones are all cows because you can see them right. This is I-5, like going right down here. So you drive right by these. They're huge. Like, I don't know. I think this says like, I'm not sure what the map scale is. Like, it doesn't actually show, but like huge. And then back here, I didn't even realize that even further back off of the road, you can zoom in and actually see animals on these lots. Like, one of my first priorities for the golden age is going to be shutting down the slaughterhouses, because if they don't have anywhere they can actually transport animals to be killed in the county, then that's going to cause, one bump in the road and discourage them from doing what they're doing, because we have to kind of have like a game plan and a path, almost an idea of how we're going to get to where we're going. And obviously buying farmlands and turning them into sanctuaries is a priority. But if I can shut down the slaughterhouses and cause serious issues for them to be able to actually take that slave and get it killed, then that's going to be really good. Okay. David says, appalling living conditions where they have no space, no entertainment, no males. Yeah, they're like, it looks really nice all around, all this green, but then you zoom in like the actual land that the animals themselves are on are completely brown. There's no grass at all. Like, they are bringing in feed from somewhere else, right? Like, these cows aren't what they picture on the commercials of happy cows come from California, where they're just grazing in these wide open fields and just happy. Like, they're not. And like David said, there's no males. Like, all of these girls are on these farms together. They never get to have the experience of falling in love. The only sexual experience they ever get is a creepy, broken clown putting them in a rape rack and putting his male, like his human hand, up their bum and impregnating them. There's like really the amount of like sodomite focused practices that happen in the animal industry. Like, obviously that's how they do with the girls, but to get the bull's contribution to the baby, they use devices that will catch the bodily fluids, but they literally shock them anally to do this process. They're not getting to have sex with girl cows either. It's just like disgusting humans making cows and other animals. It's just disgusting. It's really crazy, the paradigm shift that happens when you go vegan. Like, all of these behaviors that you're around, like people eating flesh, and like they'll cook the animal in a skillet and then all this fat is left over, and some people like put the fat in containers and keep it around. Like, you don't realize how disgusting and absurd these behaviors are until your eyes are opened. And it's just like, being around these people can be very difficult. I actually got into a little bit of an arguing match with my friend's dad in San Diego because he's a farmer, and like, I'm really against this stuff. And he actually asked me what I thought about, what would you think about someone that eats human flesh? And I said, well, honestly, I really don't see them any differently from someone who eats animals. Like, meat is meat, and you guys are all baby eaters. So it's like, most humans already have eaten human flesh anyways, because they serve it to you in McDonald's burgers. So David says it's evil. Both females and males are sodomized to keep the industry operating. Yes, Kyle says the entire industry is horrendous. And humans don't want to take accountability for their actions and understand that the slavery that we're in is a direct link to the behaviors that we're doing. So, anyways, that is what I wanted to say on the vegan front. Kyle actually posted this really long list of disasters and tragedies that have happened in 2023. So I wanted to kind of talk about, like the train derailments and stuff like that. I actually have family near East Palestine, Ohio, and I was just I heard the rumor that Trump was going. It was really, really irritating because Trump, for all of these patriots and conservatives, is like the savior of the world. And what they did was have Biden and FEMA refuse to go there so that Trump could go in and be like, oh, nobody would come and save you, so I came in. Trump is a girl, was literally standing there saying, oh, FEMA is really great. For 4 years, I worked with them and had such great luck with different tragedies. But now all of a sudden with Biden, trying to put their political campaign in, it's so see-through to me. And the fact that it's happening in East Palestine, Ohio, where all of these conservative people are, where my own conservative family is, it just like really grinds my gears. And you see through all of these agendas and your family doesn't. It's like, it's so frustrating. So yeah, the train derailments. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to read through Kyle's list here and see it, because before this year, how many train derailments have you ever even heard of? January 9th, Lake City, South Carolina, train derailment. January 19th, Zanesville, Ohio, train derailment. January 21st, South Carolina, train derailment. February 3rd, East Palestine, train derailment. February 12th, South Carolina, train derailment. February 13th, Texas, train derailment. We'll talk about the chemical spills in a second too, because there's a lot of that going on as well. February 19th, there was a pipe bomb found near a railway. February 20th, a southern train derailment in Michigan. February 21st, another train derailment in Gothenburg. And February 23rd, a coal train derailment in Nebraska as well. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 train derailments in 2 months. And people aren't even suspicious at all. It's just like, this is a normal thing that happens. Just happens just like flu season, which is also a hoax. They're causing all of these things to happen, causing all of this chaos to bring about their new world order. And I think that there are prophecies that they are trying to make happen, like especially in the Bible, like in Revelation, there's a lot of prophecies about wormwood, the waters becoming bitter, and all of this end times catastrophe where the powers that be are having their final war. Ultimately, it's Satan's war versus the saints. And I believe that they have written these prophecies and are causing them to come to pass, which, definitely helps to make people believe even more in the book. But it's like very easy to write a prophecy and then make it come true, especially when we live in a completely controlled reality. This is the Truman Show, right? Everything is completely controlled. There's no accidents. These trains aren't just accidentally bumping into things, or, there's one that's like hit a car or something, like rocks falling or any of these things. They're not happening by chance or naturally. Even the chemical spills, one of the things that they were trying to do, like especially with East Palestine, is a really they're calling it a village. It's not really even a town. Like, they want people out of these small towns and their farming lands to go into their big cities, right? The 15-minute smart cities. Another interesting thing I just found out about East Palestine was actually, let me get the actual thing pulled up. So East Palestine. Okay, so they are actually having, you can just go onto the website on the thing just posted. I want to make sure that I'm telling you exactly what the allegation is here. Beverly. Sorry about this. It has to do with the like microchips with all of your health data and stuff being on it. It's like a demonic attack to not be able to find what I'm trying to tell you. It's irritating. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about? QR code, maybe. Yeah, this is really irritating. I apologize. Right before all of this is out, here we go. Thank you. In October 2022, right before all this happened, just a few months ago, East Palestine, Ohio made a deal with My ID to supply its citizens with wearable QR health devices. There's actually like a news source that the person's talking about this is such a great so yeah, this just happened right before, and then there was two different events. So this one happened in October. There was another thing that was an update to it, like that happened right before the event happened itself. Let's see, East Palestine, Ohio, My ID, February 2023. Hopefully you guys are doing well and nothing too chaotic is going on. Okay. Why did East Palestine launch My ID emergency service to surveil biometrics 1 week before Ohio train derailment? So there was news reports urging local residents to sign up for My ID to receive a new biometric tracking device that provides first responders updates about an individual's health conditions amid an emergency or major disaster. Okay, again, East Palestine, Ohio is so small. Like where I'm from, we're out in the country, folk. Like this is not a big city. So the fact that there is so much going on with this, it's just red flags. It was exactly a week before the derailment happened. The people were asked to go to the local fire department in downtown East Palestine to get that ID. They began monitoring your physical activity, your heart rate, your respiration, anything you might be exposed to. If you are not suspicious at this point, then I would suggest to not consume any fluoride to purify your diet and get ready because we're about to go through a really big tribulation and survival's not guaranteed. You have to be wise. You have to be alert. You have to be aware of what's going on or David says, train derailments with chemical spills, just a PSYOP cover-up story. They are poisoning the waters. Bitter waters as in Revelation. Yes. chemical spills would probably be a little bit too uncontrolled for them, like going out and poisoning the water is like something that's very controlled that they can do. So that definitely makes sense. Renee says, thank you so much for sharing. We are under a hostile takeover. Yes, that is true. Kyle says there's probably more train derailments, but it's not being advertised anywhere. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Twitter usually has all the news on this stuff as long as you go to the search bar and type train derailment. Okay, that's good to know. I haven't been on Twitter for a long time, so. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? Afternoon, everyone. They logged me out of my primary account again. Oh, no. Back on my alt account just for logging out. Wow. That's really ridiculous. I'm glad that you have the other account, though, and you're still able to interact on Facebook, at least. You know, it's their platform, and we have to be, I guess, at least grateful that we can even use it. David says, once the waters are poisonous, bitter waters, then population can be forcibly relocated under new laws. Agenda 2030. And how long does the poison last either? I'd be curious. All right. Can you send that message to me that you sent earlier about Apostle Paul? Yes, I will definitely do that. All right. Is Sage even here yet, or is he avoiding me because I know, or because he knows that there is something going on? Sage, where are you? Okay, so anyways, not only are these derailments going on, but like I was saying, in Southern California, there was like a ton of flooding going on, and a family friend also sent me some videos from Ecuador, and it's like flooding really badly there as well. So there's all sorts of different disasters going on. We have, you know, the Putin and Ukraine show happening, right? They are both the controllers, Putin and who's the person that runs Ukraine? I don't know. No, this, you know, who is a bunch of grand princes or something. Zelensky. Why does it have princes as the first thing? Oh, I guess I kind of already knew that it was Zelensky, but anyways, two inverts that are friends behind closed doors pretending to go to war with each other so that humans experience all of the chaos and stuff that we are experiencing now. So all of this stuff is just part of the show, part of what they have planned for our depopulation. And they use these different cover stories, right? Like pretending that they're infighting each other so that they can blow up buildings and go to war, and like they're always putting on a fake show to cover up for what's really going on. And what's really going on is these dark forces that are ultimately a war against humanity, like the wheat and the tares. The wheat, those that choose to come into this world to, you know, choose the white hat, you play on the side of the light, you are a real human. Or the tares, those that they look like us, but they are not like us. Those that choose the black hat, they choose to come in to play for the side of evil, the inverted ones. And that's the real battle, but they want to distract us and make it seem like the battle is between them, and there are like all these different factions of them at battle with each other. It's just like, yeah. Check our chat with Sage real quick. Kyle sent an attachment. Robin Williams on Facebook is connecting a lot of the current events of Numerology 23. Here we go. All of the numbers are on here are connected to plane crashes. Is that what it's supposed to say? Plane fire? Hellfire missiles. Let me see what this is here. Let me post this into, I don't think it'll fit, tiny URL. I will post what Kyle just sent me so that you guys can check it out and see. I'll have to look a little bit more into this. Customize your link. Okay, here we go. Copy. Computer is frozen. Frozen. No. Okay. URL. So here we go. Hello, from UK Forever. I do not know how to say your name, so if you have a name that I could say, I would definitely say hello to you directly. And you said nice eyes. Thank you. I was actually getting gas like yesterday on my way home, and this guy was like, "Do you have contacts?" And I was like, "No." And then he said he complimented my eyes, so that's nice. Aaron says, cool at David D. Good stuff. The keto I was shown, the guy was eating meat and eggs and demonizing kidney beans. LOL. I didn't know keto was vegan as well. Thanks. I will take a look into it. Aaron says, did we ever find out what happened to Kenneth? No, I'm really bummed about that. Kenneth is one of the mods in my disclosure group on Facebook who just went missing, and like I don't know that the person isn't necessarily missing, but they deactivated their Facebook account, and I haven't heard from him for a really long time. So hopefully he is okay. Yeah. David says that vegan keto is pretty restrictive, but it is ethical, vegan, and healthy keto. Well, vegan keto, it can be healthy or unhealthier, right? There is a lot of the vegan meats and stuff that are keto, and if you just get like a vegan keto bread, you could still have, your vegan cheeseburgers and stuff. But obviously, with these different processed foods come the chemicals and all of these other things. Unfortunately, there are many people who go vegan, and including myself, obviously, we just basically go for whatever substitutes that we could find, and we don't really focus on our health, because ultimately veganism is about the animals. It's not like if we were concerned about our health, we would be raw vegan, right? But we want to still eat the same things that we like, but we don't want to kill any animals. So many vegans fall into this trap of eating really unhealthy things, and especially sugary things, and it's killing us. So we have to ultimately decide if we want to live or die, and going at keto is one way to help, especially like there are some people that are really far along in the disease process that going raw vegan would not be good for them. They need to really get into ketosis, which is a survival mechanism, so that they can cure themselves. And then after they get the disease under control, then they could go to raw vegan if they want to further purify, David says, white hats are humans, black hats are inverse. It's pretty simple once you wake up. Yep. Aaron says, maybe they banned him. That is a possibility, but I would have hoped that he would make another account and come back. I don't think that his wife had an account either. I never met her or anything, so I can't get a hold of her. Hey, Bob, how's it going? Bob says, joining late. Hi, Anana. You have folks in Ohio. Have they made any comments about the situation? I asked my dad what they were doing, and they're not really too concerned, because East Palestine's, maybe like a half an hour, they're a decent amount away. but I don't know. I don't even know how seriously they're taking it or what they're planning on doing. I kind of got in a little bit of an argument with my family kind of recently because I was trying to tell them the truth about Trump, and they don't want to hear it because they're ultra conservative and people really desperately want a hero, and Trump is being presented as a hero, and that's why I think that Trump is the number one candidate for the Antichrist, because there's nobody on earth that has people more deceived than Trump. Aaron says sugar is the worst. Super sugar, especially GMO, genetically modified organisms known to mutate in the body, aka cancer. Oh, yes, it is. Sugar basically feeds diseases, and yeah, it's like the biggest killer of humans on earth. So cutting it out is really hard because it's extremely addictive, but if you want to live, you must do it. So Aaron says, good point, Anana. Maybe he left on his own accord. Never said a word to me. Yeah, I know. He didn't say anything to me either, so that's why I don't think that he left on his own. But I don't know. Aaron says, I think Trump is too old to, but could be the Antichrist. Could be. I don't really necessarily have a age particularly in mind. I'm not really tied to any prophecies, but yeah, could potentially be the offspring of Trump because they're setting up the whole family as like this twisted, like, I don't know. Anyways, Aaron says, I will be doing a post soon on the 14,000, and Mark of the Beast will still gathering information. Sweet. Kyle says, Sage's promise, what's that? Well, Sage isn't here, so he can't make the promise if he's not here, and that's why I wanted to make sure that he would be here. Oh. Aaron says, Musk is another candidate. You will see when I write my post how AI and Musk immortal life gene therapy equals Mark of the Beast comes after the chip and backs. I would definitely agree that Musk is sort of a candidate, but at the same time, I'm not sure that Musk has all of the mainstream Christians deceived, all of these people that are like, you know, diehard patriot, God-fearing people. I'm not sure that Musk could deceive them, like especially like Trump did. So I'm not really sure, but I'm open to whatever the truth is. I don't know. I thought Obama was the Antichrist, and then Trump came, and like everyone thinks that God sent this inverted, perverted, incestuous pedophile to be a hero of the people. And they're doing a really good job of setting her up to look that way. And as Musk is pushing the AI conscious transference, that is the start of the immortal life gene therapy. The son of perdition will have real magical powers, much like the Christ would. Many will be fooled. Yes. Yeah. It'll be really interesting to see what they do with technology, but they're obviously already using it to, create artificial life, those artificial wombs and stuff that they're trying to use to help men get pregnant and anything of the sort that they can create abominations to God. It's like, at the same time, they already have all of these technologies, so they're just hiding them from us, right? They're keeping us deliberately dumbed down and held back, and then they give us this illusion like this technology is new and being invented by humans. It's like some humans eat Tide Pods, okay? So inventing technology or all these things. Like, anyways, David D says that sugar is not vegan, yet many vegans will ignore the fact it is filtered through bones of the innocent. Yeah, the majority of sugar is definitely not vegan, and it's really disturbing the different fining processes that humans have been taught. It's not only with sugar, but like wines and champagnes and even beer. They'll use like fish bladders to fine the wine. Like, absolutely no need. Adding this disgusting element, this death element. And like David is saying, a lot of vegans will actually just ignore the fact that their bread or whatever might have sugar in it and still eat it, and they're really not vegan. So Aaron says the book called The Great Delusion, The Antichrist, is a good book to start with this. Sweet. Kyle says, I just messaged Sage. Awesome. Hopefully he will join, but he might be hiding because he knows his soul's like, don't listen to her. La, 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 la. I hope he watches this. I'm just playing. Aaron says the immortal life gene therapy changes our DNA from 144,000 to 216. The triple helix thing. I don't believe that the triple helix thing is real. The way that God created DNA, I don't believe that there is a way for them to incorporate a triple helix into it. So I'll have to look into that. I'm, like I said, open to whatever the truth is. So David says, avoid sugar and you will heal, even on vegan keto burgers. It's all due to sugar. Yep. Lettuce wraps are actually really good with burgers anyways, so I would definitely encourage trying that. But there's even vegan keto cookbooks and groups on Facebook that post recipes and everything. So definitely please check that out. Aaron says all about genome and genome therapy. Anyways, I don't want to hog the chat. You don't need to stop. That is perfectly fine. I appreciate everybody being here. Carl says, have you seen all the 7D animations they've done? A flying dragon over a baseball field, a panther jumping around a baseball field, a whale in a gym room. That technology is insane. I have seen a few of those. I think especially the whale in the gym room. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do, especially if they end up going through with Project Bluebeam. And yeah, I don't know. Us little lowly humans don't even know what kind of technology they have. Like, and it's not like this is the first cycle either. So it's like all of these things have been around for so long, and we're deceived as humans to think that they're brand new. It's just ridiculous. Aaron says the son of perdition will be the one to instill the triple helix. It is the mark of the beast. Anyone who takes it forfeits their mark of the lamb. Okay. He will present this immortal life gene therapy as the Messiah and will be able to do miracles like the Messiah, including our DNA if we take his mark, sell our soul. Okay. That does sound like a lot of the stuff that you hear in the biblical thing as well. So my post will explain everything I've learned. Awesome. I look forward to reading that. Kyle says a school of whales flying over a city. Wow. Did you find that one on YouTube? Or that sounds like an interesting thing to see. I can only imagine what other things they will do with this tech. Yes. Yeah, it's hard to even fathom, like, when you're not fully awake, even what they have. I don't know. It's hard to even put into words because they're so far advanced. For Sage is here. Woohoo! Sage, how's it going? We've been waiting for you. Mike the mechanic, how's it going? Hi, Anana. Finally got a notification, but I didn't pick up my phone until now. Making a vegan stir fry at the time. Ooh. Ooh, nice. What's in your stir fry? Aaron says, after people take the mark, they will want to die and will not be able to die. They will suffer under the son of perdition. Anywho, to be continued. Yes. It'll be really interesting to see, everything that they have planned for us, especially reading the different prophecies of, pestilence, famine, war, death, looking into the past and seeing the historical events that they have done before. I was channeled that the four horsemen actually ride like every 100 years. So there's, in a way, a repeating of certain events every 100 years, but with increasing intensity. And this one that we're going through right now will be the most. So whatever they did the last 100 years, it's going to be even worse than that. And they had like the potato famine. They had, racial wars, the burning of Black Wall Street. They had, famine. Well, I just said potato famine, but other famine as well. They had pestilence, all of these things. They were using jabs and 5G. We're talking about 7D and 3D. Anyways, 5G to create an environment that these viruses will actually thrive, right? It lowers our immune system and they work together. So all this stuff is being recycled, rinse and repeat, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Sage says that he was immersed in a chess game. So Sage, let's just get into it. Will you make me a promise? just to take a look at the thumbnail and say yes. And then I can tell you what the promise is. But you have to say yes before I tell you what the promise is. Mike says, vegetables, onion, garlic, spices, pinto beans, pasta made from plants. Yum. David says, Mystic Sage is Aaron and is Sage. No confusion there. Kyle says, check out our chat for the link to that to the Whales of the City. Sweet. You just post it here, Oh, maybe it actually won't let you post it, and that's why it's not. We're having a snowstorm here, guys. How's the weather where you're at? Okay, let's use this. All right, here we go. Here is the link to the whales. So then they can say when pigs fly, and then they can put pigs flying in the air. Aaron said, like in 1929. Yes, good points. Yep, but way worse. Absolutely. Ooh, we got a promise from Sage. Okay. Well, now I have to tell you the promise. You might be a little bit disappointed, but I need you to promise me that you will seriously cut back on your sugar intake. When Kyle was posting a picture of a spinach and artichoke dip, and you're saying that it's missing sugar, the sugar demon in you is connecting with the sugar demon in me, and we have to stop. Not only do I want you to come back to Mount Shasta and, hang out more, but I need you to be part of the golden age. And in order to get you to commit to this, I mean, you already promised to seriously cut back, but I'm going to make you some homemade oatmeal raisin cookies, which you said were your favorite. I'm going to make you that, and I'm going to go to Sprouts and get any of the vegan keto candies that they have. I'm going to send you a care package so that you can taste all these vegan keto candies so that we can satisfy the sugar demon and not have you die. Like, we are all eating too much. Like, I'm not going to be eating any sugar anymore either. I'm going strictly to plants only, like salads basically, and fruit. But I will make an exception to make you some cookies, okay? Because I don't want you to have to be that strong. And this message isn't just for Sage, this is for all of you. Anyone with the sugar demon, you have to stop as well. We're going to hear some crickets, but I'm really quite excited about getting together the care package for you. They have like Reese peanut butter cup remakes. They have all sorts of keto cookies and products. So I'm going to be sending them to you. You need to send me your address. Don't do it here, obviously, but send it to me on Messenger. Yay. Yay. Thank you. Sage says, I really hope that you will do that. Eat sweet fruit. Yes, I do promote that as well, but sometimes having like something that tastes like chocolate or something, I understand. I get it. I have my own demons to wrestle with. Thankfully, they do not like to eat babies. I'm good on those demons. Where other people struggle to go vegan, like they are dealing with demons that want them to continue eating babies, the high that they get from it, all of the stuff that's involved, the smell. Oh my gosh. When I was in San Diego, my friends were cooking their own dinner, and I walked into the house, like actually before I even got to the house, the smell was horrid, like absolutely horrid. I walked in, I set their child down, and I walked back out. I cannot stay here. I'll come back in a few hours when you guys are done with this, because it smelled so bad. The smell of cooking flesh, it's just like, but that smell actually attracts demons, so they're all coming to you as you sit there and cook. And then when you sit down and eat, they're dining with you. And if you've watched my other videos, they can actually integrate themselves and get pleasures from your actions, whether it's eating pleasure, whether it's the sugar high that we all love, or, the flesh high, any of these things, even, sexual actions or other things, they can get pleasures from us. So it is a demonic activity. And anyways, Aaron says, is that the Kyle I know from Facebook? Yes, this is a Kyle from Facebook and a Sage from Facebook that you know. Kyle says, I love oatmeal raisin too. Well, I need to send you the flash drive of your chess games. So maybe I'll put some cookies in there for you as well. Aaron says, I find when we leave it alone a while, sugar, our body gets used to not having it. Yes, just like any addiction, right? To cut it off. I am very heavily addicted to sugar, like real bad, and I know it's hurting me. So now that I'm back from San Diego, like I said, I'm going to be going to only eating salads. Yeah. Bob says, got to make a plug for stevia. You can buy 40 packets in a box for $150 Canadian at a dollar store. Wow. I have only personally used Swerve. It's a keto sugar replacement. Speaking of, I think I saw. Hi, Faith. How's it going? Faith said coconut sugar is a good alternative. I'm not sure that coconut sugar is keto, though, is it? Sugar keto. Let me see what this actually says here. Is coconut sugar keto? Come on. Say yes or no. No, coconut sugar is not keto. Sugar contain 8 grams of carbs. So that's actually the same as white table sugar is what they're saying on here. But they're saying that you can make coconut palm sugar keto, so you have to count carbs. But if you get like the Swerve that doesn't have it, it's like basically just eating less, right? It's not, you don't have to be like totally obsessed with all of tasty spaghettis and we all love. I love spaghetti. And it breaks into your body into sugar, and that's just feeding these demons. So I have to cut myself off from from one of the things I just love the most in life. So, allulose blend, a really keto substitute sugar. Interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind because the different cookies require brown sugar and not white sugar. It's vegan. Presumably because it's made out of monk sugar, right? Monk fruit sugar. All right. Anyways, there are tons of different ways to. They're making a lot of new, products to support these lifestyles, and I definitely encourage people to. Cal says you got to be more enthusiastic about eating healthy. I'm actually really excited about eating the salads because I was like glowing. I was feeling really good with all of that. But I have like the not hunger demon, the gluttony demon, and being addicted to all of these foods that I have to wrestle with. But I am not only asking Sage to make me a promise, I am also making a change as well. I was a little bit naughty during San Diego. I do admit that I had some vegan burgers. One vegan burger. I had vegan tacos with a queso cheese. I had a really, really, really good vegan chicken quesadilla. But now that I'm home, that is over. So, you guys, hopefully you will take the challenge as well and fight for it. If all of us that are vegans and fighting for the golden age basically just eat ourselves to death, nothing's gonna happen, right? Like, we need to stay alive to make the future happen. So all of us better take the challenge. But I'm specifically challenging Sage just because of the spinach and artichoke dip comment that is missing sugar. All right. Mike said, Aaron says that raisins are full of sugar. Good. Sometimes be careful eating them all the time. Yes. And there's actually a lot of fruits and stuff that are keto if you just eat a little bit of them. And they have like ketone test strips and stuff that you can check if you are in ketosis. But once you get into ketosis, it's kind of like there's almost a taste in your mouth that you can tell that you are in ketosis without having to do any of that. Mike says, I've ordered vegan peanut butter cups. Ooh, from Chomp Chocolate. Not sure what sugar they use. I'm sure that it is not. Sage, does anyone see this sugar demon fly across the screen? I did see something that's really funny. Aaron says, Anana, you're making me want to eat sugar. Okay, well, we can't do it, guys. You have to find something that's keto. You could get the sweetness from keto sugars, but you're not going to get the actual high that you get from eating sugar, which is what we have to, understand going into it. I don't even really want to mention that a lot of keto people turn alcoholics because of the high that they get from alcohol rather than from not having sugar. They kind of supplemented, but I'm definitely not encouraging that. I'm just saying that is one thing they do. Mike says be careful with salads, mainly because of the vinegar. Huge proponent of not ever using vinegar. I don't put vinegar on my salads. Does Italian dressing have vinegar? Because I do use that sometimes, but usually I like to use vegan ranch. I don't like balsamic vinaigrette or like any types of no thanks. Aaron says to Mike, good point. I use apple cider vinegar, Mike, sauerkraut pro and probiotics for my vinegar source only, and usually Extra virgin olive oil. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I tend to like, like I said, ranch dressing and stuff with a little bit more to it. I don't know. Do you even sage? Oh my gosh, now we have 3 sages in the chat. Woohoo! Blessings, everyone. It's Missy. Hi, Missy. How are you, Inanna, and everyone? Trust you are all amazing. I am doing great, thank you. It's a beautiful day, and it's snowing here in Mount Shasta. So, yes, I am happy to be here. Oh, David Diesel's another sage, too. That's funny. Uh, Aaron says, no sugar demons, too many sages in one place. Saw them duck out early. Too many sages in one place. Yeah, we're all anti the sugar demon, so he's not really feeling welcome right now with my message, but he's going to try to dig his claws in. I have some non-keto sugar that I'm going to have to go home and like put into like a box or something out in my storage area so that it's not in my space. Mike says, Inanna, your body automatically goes into keto if you simply do not eat for 12 hours per day. Yes, a lot of people do try to fast to get into ketosis, and that's obviously one way, or just gradually, only eating a keto foods. So obviously the fasting is a quicker way to get there because you just cut off everything, right? Aaron says, I only have sugar in my coffee, plant-based milk. 4G, not a big sugar person. Okay. Mike says, alcoholics, believe it or not, is brought about by diet with seed oils. Interesting. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that contributes to it, but I also understand that the world that we're in is like really unpleasant, and we are given different escape mechanisms, especially and specifically the ones that bring out the worst in us, right? Like liquor and meth and all of these things that are, I mean, obviously meth isn't like promoted in the mainstream, but it's very big issue in especially big cities, but even in small cities now, like meth is becoming a really, really big issue, and it will not be available in the golden age. Neither will liquor, but there are, beer and wine, champagne is fine, and the earth provides a ton of different natural drugs for you to go and have fun with, where we're not going to be having meth. Okay, like I think we can all agree that meth is not part of the golden age because it literally is like Satan's favorite drug. It will turn a really beautiful girl into, prematurely age her, have her complete, her body will fall apart like in a very, very short amount of time. And I'm only just using one example. Like it's extremely harmful, not only to your appearance, but to your family, to everything. We're not having it, okay? But there are going to be other fun drugs that are available. So don't worry about that. The golden age isn't like about not having anything. People are like, you're restricting everything. It's like, we're restricting the worst things that humans are being attempted into doing, humans are addicted to do, and these things bring out the worst in us. So eating animals, we're not going to have Pornhub.com. I don't even know if it's .com or whatever the heck Pornhub is. Like we're not going to have these readily available, free, everything being in your face in the golden age. Children should not be able to like get onto a computer and have naked people shown to them. It's not appropriate. Mystic Sage says, I used to drink beer but quit in 2019 and now no sugar. Wow, good job. It's 2019. That's really impressive that you haven't drank for that long. Let me see here. Missy says we went to a vegan market in Australia yesterday and we're very naughty too. We did taco and Boston buns, fruit smoothie, and we're buzzing for hours. Haha. And both of us are detoxing now. Okay, we're on the same page then. That's the people like in these bigger cities that have these markets and all of their food, like the fast foods, they're so spoiled. And for them to not be vegan, it's just like it actually to the spiritual world makes them look even worse. Like if you're in a town like here, well, actually we have it pretty good here too, but like if you were in a town that has no vegan restaurants, the store doesn't sell any, you know, pre-made vegan meals or anything, like the spiritual world judges you one way. But if you are literally surrounded by restaurants and options and everything, and you still choose to eat that animal, like you are really judged very harshly. And well, by a righteous judge at least, it's like you are literally surrounded by these things, and you still choose to eat animals. Like that's so evil. Um, Missy says he can't have enough sages. Exactly. Let's see. Wow, Missy, you've never seen snow. That is crazy. Let me see. Okay. Sage, you don't use salad dressing? Interesting. Mike says Moroccan olive oil is what you want. High polyphenol content from the olive plant, struggling to survive in the desert. Does it taste like olives? Because personally, I would not like that. I'm not a really big. I'm a really picky vegan. I do not like the taste of olive oil. Sage says, "Yeah, I eat a big cup of it a day at least, and feel amazing." The olive oil, hopefully not sugar. uh, Yep, we all eat a big bowl of sugar and we feel better because we're getting a high from it while it hurts us. Mike says seed oils equal partially hydrogenated. Okay, interesting. I haven't really spent too much time looking into oils, but I know that they do. There's like a lot of negative information regarding their impact on the body, and that doesn't really surprise me because everything that we are given to eat, uh, everything in our world is a joke on us, right? So the things that are the worst for our health is what are the most heavily promoted, right? Like if you even go to the grocery store, when you're trying to check out, there's like candy everywhere. It's like sugar here. There's the sodas at the end. There's like it's a constantly trying to get us to eat things that are killing us, and that's one of the ways that they maintain the population, right? They keep us prematurely aged and dying off in a matter of 100 years. I believe that humans are designed to live hundreds of years in vibrant youth. So for us to just not even live 100, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's because we are eating the wrong things. It starts from birth, right? Like as soon as your mom starts to feed you, other than her breast milk, usually it's cooked, processed foods that you don't even know where those baby foods are coming from. I don't know about you, but I do not trust any of their baby foods, any like I don't even trust like their diapers or anything. I don't want anything that they have to offer for babies for my baby pretty much. So David says stevia, swerve, monk fruit are all zero carbs. Agave, coconut sugar, and syrups are all full of carbs. So is bread, pasta, and potatoes. It's tough to go keto. Yeah. Yep. I know that they do a lot. Isn't cauliflower like, do they do like a lot of cauliflower? Keto cauliflower rice. So a lot of things, not just rice, but I have had a vegan shepherd's pie that was keto, and they used the cauliflower to actually make the potatoes. So there are still things that you can do to get that shepherd's pie. Like now, I just agreed to being to being only salads, and now I actually almost want to cry. Like the gluttony demon is like, wow, that's just sad. A keto shepherd's pie would be so good right now. I'm gonna be good though. So, um, Aaron says to Sage, yeah, I find for vegan I prefer sauerkraut over any yogurt or anything else. Okay, interesting. I actually don't even know how you make sauerkraut. Like, never had it. Well, I'm not sure that can't say I've never had it. I've never made it. From what I had as a child, I would not go out of my way to get it. I'm sure that you can make it in different ways that would be better than what I had as a child. So I'm not really sure. I have definitely opened up to a lot more new food options since I have gone vegan, and I'm willing to try new things to a certain extent, at least. Kyle said, I've made a delicious green. Where'd that go? Where'd it go? Green goddess dressing. There we go. What exactly is in a green goddess dressing? Let's see. Greek yogurt. Okay. Well, this is not a vegan recipe, I don't think. I wonder what the difference in ranch is. Ranch has always been my favorite kind of dressing. Okay. Aaron says cigarettes, sugar, and meth gone. Yes. Aspect 670, how's it going? How many inches of snow are in weed? Let me look. Let's go outside and you can see. Oh no. The internet is not. Can you see the winter? The girls actually made this. My computer's getting wet. This cute little snowman here. Oh no, his nose fell. Anyways, the mountain is covered. I mean, you can't actually see it right now, but so yeah, this is the wintry wonderland that I came back to from San Diego. David says, I promise to eat vegan keto too. Yay! Aaron says, never drink again. A spiritual decision. That is definitely an admirable one, but not a reformed drinker. To each their own. Different strokes for different folks. Had my fun, moved on. That's understandable. I definitely enjoy a glass of champagne every now and then. Well, preferably champagne. I do like to, have a drink and have a fun time relaxing a little bit. So usually I go for champagne or a white wine, but occasionally I will choke down a red wine just because. Yeah. Anyways. Aaron says, I'm having vegan shawarma this weekend. Wheat, gluten, 5 ingredients. Product is called Gusta. Me gusta. Then back to raw vegan this week in Anna. That's awesome. It's, keto, fruitarian type mixture of those two things is a really good idea as well for those who might feel a little bit like me and might be too hard to go all raw right now, but you can do a mix between the two so that your body is still healing while you are eating a little bit more naughty foods. Aspect 670 says lemon juice can be used as a salad dressing substitute. Yes, I have heard that as well. Kyle says never seen snow, just wait for them to overspray chemtrails. Yeah, I know. What are chemtrails? Those are a conspiracy theory. Aspect 670 says, I like sauerkraut. Okay. And Sage clarified and said eating a cup of sauerkraut in the morning and not sugar. That's good. Okay. Aaron says 120 is what I use what I read in the life expectancy we are supposed to be living. There are some that I think they claim that, like after the flood or something, that God shortened it from, the hundreds of years that the ones before the flood were living to 120 or whatever. But yeah, what was channeled to me is that we're supposed to live hundreds of years in vibrant youth, and that a human doesn't even fully mature until 200. Like, that's what at least some of the watchers claim. Um, which, if that is, the truth, that's kind of mind blowing to think that we've basically never had a fully mature human on Earth, like in how many thousands of years, really. 200. Then they'll like pat you on the head and be like, there you go, now you're fully mature. Wow. Yeah. So basically, you would be the aging process would be really slow. It's not like you would get to like you're picturing your great grandma or something. Like, I don't even know if you have a great grandma. I did before. Well, everybody has a great grandma. I didn't mean to say it like that. I mean, like, I don't know if you knew your great grandma or saw it, but you're not getting to like this almost decrepit state where you're like really hunched over and really old so early. But because we're eating so much death from the beginning, that's what happens. If you only give a child raw fruits from the beginning, which is what I intend to do, we're going to see how much different the aging process is, because it's not only the animal products that have karmic associations with killing us. They're those complex proteins that they brag about and how we need them. It is really taxing on your body to break all of those down, so that prematurely ages you. Having cooked foods, like we're like the only species on Earth that actually cooks our foods. Like, we're meant to be in this Garden of Eden type paradise, eating apples and berries, and the introduction of cooked foods, it takes out the nutritional value of the foods. It deadens the foods, and it deadens you ultimately. So all of these different factors are against us, and then you add in, poisonous water, chemtrails, all of the jabs, every different thing that's like constantly trying to kill us off and prematurely age us. So I'm really quite excited to see. I plan to do extended breastfeeding for my future child, whatever. I'm not sure how many I will have. Can't even tell you how many years that I plan on breastfeeding. And yes, I said years. But when he is ready to start eating, I only intend to give him, fruits and veggies that are intended for him to eat. He's a blank slate. I don't want to ruin that by giving him, candy and all of this other stuff. And people are like, oh, well, you're depriving him. I'm like, yeah, I'm depriving him of demons. That's a good thing. That's what a mother should be doing. Like, what is best for her child, regardless of what society says. Society says, oh, if you don't, I don't know. I just kind of, my mind went to like, if you don't take your child to Hooters on their 18th birthday, then, or a strip club or something, then then you're depriving them. It's like, good, deprive them then, if that's what it means, because all these things that society is telling us to do with our children is corrupting them. It's not only corrupting them, like physically making them, their body, the terrain, right? It's dirtying the terrain to make it so that any diseases that they send out will take hold, will flourish in the body. I've talked many times about the germ versus terrain thing that they're trying to make us choose a side. It's like they wouldn't be making viruses in labs if they didn't do things, if they didn't have, a purpose. And the yearly flu, the cold season, right? It gives this illusion of, cold season, exactly, right? Like, oh, it's a natural thing. It happens every year. They keep people sick. They keep all these, especially elder people, coming back for their flu shots. It's all just part of the plan. But the point is that the germs are important. the terrain is important. Both of them are factors in our health. So they both need to be considered. So don't fall for the psyop that basically these Satanists create a virus in a lab, they send it, and then they say, no, that was you. Your bodies are just detoxing. Viruses are exosomes. It's like they have tricked you guys very completely in all this. Okay. Aaron says, I made shepherd's pie and vegan meat pies. So good. Yum. Sage says, I heard that in Europe they sell bottled kraut juice. I feel like a native now. Mike says, I'm definitely waiting for more mainstream cauliflower stuff. I really don't see it in my area in New York. Well, the potato recipe that I had for the shepherd's pie, like you just basically roast a cauliflower and then mash it up, and that's the potato. So it's actually really easy to make a lot of these things. And I'm pretty sure for a cauliflower rice, you just break up the head into little florets or whatever, and then pulse on a blender. So yeah, but I do, get excited for the future and having different products in the stores that are pre-made to make it easier for people, right? Hey Ben, how's it going? You soak cabbage in vinegar. Okay. No vinegar, says Sage. See, we already have a difference. Like there must be different ways to make it that it might make it taste edible, because what I had as a child was not it. I don't know. David says meth and liquor is destroying humans, especially the homeless. It's really sad, the homeless situation, because people get into these situations. Like almost every human is like one paycheck away from being homeless, especially with the increasing CPS and foster care. These orphans, once they're 18, they're tossed out. Like, I'm not saying in every situation, but I'm saying that there are so many kids that are in the foster system, and on their 18th birthday, they get booted out. They don't have a home anymore. They're homeless. And it's like, there's nothing set in place to help humanity. It's all designed to crush us down. And once you are in that position of being homeless, good luck getting out. It's really sad, especially when you don't have family. Like, that's kind of what I was trying to say, is like, if you were an orphan and you don't have family that can bail you out or help you at all, like, these people are really, really screwed. I've talked before about this lady that I met down in Reading. I haven't been able to find. I was down there around Valentine's Day and wanted to take my leftover cookies from my chess tournament to the homeless people. And, I know it's not the most nutritious thing, but I know that they would appreciate getting some cookies, right? They weren't even there. So I was really confused about where they're going nowadays and gathering. But this elderly lady, she ended up on the streets because she got a divorce. Like, she doesn't have any family. She didn't have anywhere to turn to once she separated from this guy. So it's like, my heart breaks for her. And she was, explaining about, even if she did get a job interview, where is she going to get a shower to get cleaned up? Where is she, going to keep all of her stuff? All of these different issues that make it so much harder for people to get out of these situations. It's just really sad. And then all that's left is all of these demons that are saying, liquor and meth and all of these escape mechanisms, until one day they literally make the greatest. I don't want to call it the great escape as if it's like something good. They make the great escape as in they go on to the other side. And your soul came here for a reason. So even, us all eating ourselves to death or doing any sorts of drugs or any of these suicidal behaviors, at the end of the day, our souls came here for a reason. And once we find that reason, that's going to help people to at least push through, to have a light at the end of the tunnel. But most people don't have that. So they get caught in drugs and alcohol and these really destructive lifestyles that we see on the streets. So, yeah. Let's see what's going on. Humans think that they are wise, but their wisdom is folly to God. Yes. Oh, Ben, here we go. Let me see. Snowmen are sinister idols. I guess if you want to see it that way. Aaron says wines are good for the health in moderation. I have heard that as well. Aspect 670 says, Ben, only if you worship them. Nothing wrong with children playing in snow. Ben said, I don't know. You are training them to start worshiping idols in the fallen temples that dot our blighted society's landscape. It's definitely an interesting outlook. I don't exactly see it as an idol, but I guess the whole concept of what is an idol anyways, like if you were to set up an idol for a deity or something, like it's really an interesting. Mike says, I take a mix of raw and cooked, but primarily cooked, like 70-30. Going on being vegan for 2 years now, only getting healthier despite eating primarily cooked. That is really, really great to hear, Mike. Aaron says, no one is idol worshiping anything here. Yes. David says, humans think they're... Wait, I already read that. Humans think they're wise, but they're fully God. Yes. Thinking that they are evolved pond scum and living on a giant spinning ball. In these atheists that are like... They are adamant that God doesn't exist, and they think that they are the smartest because they are repeating what the top scientists have told them. They don't realize that these top scientists are all clowns. They're actors put in place to deceive us. And then, your teacher is just repeating what they learned. No one is ever stopping along the way to question anything until now, right? Thank you to everyone who is watching that does question these things so that we can finally, put an end to the deception of humanity and ultimately child abuse. Like, it is abusive to tell a child that they are meaningless, evolved pond scum living on a giant spinning ball and that God doesn't exist. That is child abuse. To lie to a child is child abuse. And that's like damning their soul. It's extremely, extremely evil. Okay, Kyle says, I make green goddess dressing with cucumber. What is chayote? Is that how you say that? I'm not really sure. Parsley, dill, hemp seeds to thicken, and some spices. Okay. Cut up cucumber, and let me just see what this is. I've never heard of this before. Species of plant. Huh. Some sort of little squash type plant. Huh. I definitely have seen it at the store before, but I've never even touched one, I can say. Aaron says to Mike, great to hear. I've been on and off since 2017, but 2019 full vegan, same results, brother. That's awesome. Okay. Sage says, I had a bad dream of vampires and huge industries running this world. Woke up, it was worse. We see animal babies slaughtered for bloodlust. I don't want to get too deep into it, but our reality is run by monsters, and it's kind of like Hotel Transylvania with monsters behind the scenes and vampires and other things, other predators, which can definitely be unpleasant to wake up to. I guess I'm not really exactly too scared of them anymore, especially now that I see the way that humans treat animals. I kind of feel like there needs to be, like, we shouldn't be able to do this evil and get away with it. So, yeah. Most people don't want to wake up to that reality, though. Faye said, so grateful for you, Queen Nana. You made me go vegan, and it wasn't a struggle for me. I just watched one of your videos, and it was like a spell was broken. I became completely disgusted by dead animals. Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. That is really, really, really exciting. definitely why I do what I do, and encouraging, because like I was saying before, being around a sleep family and friends can be really discouraging. It's like you can't convince your own flesh and blood of things, but you can convince complete strangers, and just can be very discouraging. But there is one verse in the Bible that says a prophet is never welcome in their hometown. Um, you know, these people that essentially changed your diapers and watched you make all of the mistakes along the way that you did when you were little, can have a really hard time making a paradigm shift in their own minds to see you as the enlightened soul that you are. So I understand that full well. Know that you're not alone when you are feeling the same way. um, just stick with it. All right, keep planting seeds, and hopefully they will come along. David says they are still being prematurely aged, but look how youthful long-term raw vegans are. Yes, most of them, weren't always raw vegan, so they have already done a lot of damage to prematurely age themselves, whereas a new baby won't have those types of issues. So, like I said, I'm really excited to see my future baby and how they being multiple, not they being the pronoun to use for a child, how they develop. Faith says, and in regards to seeing a video, I became completely disgusted by dead animals and started to have compassion for the animals, even though I grew up in a Christian household where they didn't believe animals. Where they believed animals were meant for us. I didn't even feel tempted. I was like, I'm vegan, and that was it. I really love that, Faith. That is really amazing and extremely dedicated of you. Not easy to do. So I love that. I also grew up in a Christian household, and they basically just say that God gave us animals to use. Oh, they read Genesis and say, let's actually tell you what specific verse it is, because so it's Genesis 1:26. This is right after, in the story, God gives them God makes animals, and then says, in 26, let us make man in our own image, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over the earth. Okay, so it does say to give humans dominion, but if you keep reading, right, we see in verse 29, God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. So, understanding the verse in context, like, you have dominion over them, as in you're the ruler of the earth, and how you use that power over these species, over these animals, is what ultimately shows what your character is. Do you use your dominion to enslave them, to rape them pregnant, sodomizing them, to kill their babies and eat them like an actual psychopath, like the same clowns running our world that you guys complain about? Or do you use your dominion to make this world a paradise for them and do what you can so that they are enjoying God's great household just like we want to? We all want to be free. So how you use your dominion is what really matters. And all these Christians want to say, oh, we have dominion over animals, without considering how that dominion is being used. And, take it in context. You have dominion, but you're supposed to be vegan. So, okay. Mike says we were corrupted as well, but to the degree of at least having a choice to take a different path. The younger generation are in severe danger. So your coddling, as society would say, is justified. Yeah, they are in danger. And people that are just allowing their children to go off to schools and be raised by other people, I don't get that. David says vampires do run this world. It's why humans are programmed to lust after flesh and blood. It gives them karmic justification to feed on us. Yes. Yep. We'll just leave that at that, so we don't have to get into too much of the monstrous nature of our reality. Ultimately, you don't need to worry so much about the monsters when you are not being a monster yourself. They are not going to be putting their own soul into negative karmic positions to feed on you if you are not, like, they see you feeding on the animals, so they are allowed to come and feed on you. If you stop feeding on the animals, they're going to go find someone who is feeding on the animals so that they don't have bad karma coming their way, right? They can eat the guilty. It's the circle of life, remember? I'm being sarcastic, but all of these, non-vegans want to claim the circle of life, but when their own babies get eaten by other species, they want to cry about it. Like, what size clown shoes do you guys wear? That doesn't even, there's like literally no logic in this. Mike says, interesting about what you mentioned about cauliflower. Yeah. We need to stop talking about this because it's making me so hungry for shepherd's pie. Okay. Aspect 670 says the Lord will dethrone the vampires. Yeah, they are on their way. All of the powers that be are losing their power, and it is going to go to the golden age. Let's make it happen, guys. All of this chaos that they are, planning, we are able to survive. We are wise, and once, on the other side of that chaos, a new order of some sort will be created. Now, whether it's their new order where humans are enslaved and you're a bigot if you don't let them sodomize your son, or we can have the order of the golden age, which is the complete opposite, where humans are free, and if you come and touch a child, if you even look at a child, we're going to have issues, and you're going to have them with me. You better hope that I am in a good mood that day, because innocent abusers really, really make me angry. Faith says, I'm making cauliflower rice as we speak and dehydrated mushrooms. Oh, that's really cool that you're doing that. Like, there are no coincidences in our reality, Mike. You better try it. Aaron says, Araman, is that how you pronounce that? And tries to squeeze the spirit out of us like pressing down on a lemon. Yeah. Squeezing dried grapes. Mike says, Google how to clean a penny. Vinegar and salt equals hydrochloric acid. Acid breeds all cancers and other sicknesses. Our body has the salts. I've never had any acid reflux since eliminating vinegar. That is really interesting. Yeah, well, they do say that cancer can't grow in an alkaline state. So again, back to the terrain. If you are putting all of this dirtiness into your terrain, your immune system's not going to work properly. Humans are constantly eating, 3 meals a day, snacks in between. Your body being on this constant feasting cycle and not actually having a balance between feasting and fasting, where you're not just putting stuff in, but you stop and you allow your body to deal with the junk you've already put in. It causes a lot of issues, and it builds up all these toxins over time. So it's no wonder that the average human is just extremely diseased and, well, demon possessed, if we're being frank. Aaron says, has a ton of materials. Tyrant's days are numbered, as are his ruling elite scum. Yes, we need to take the power back from them so that we can make a golden age. DVD says the biggest secret is their Is there elite? Are all monsters that eat us pedivores or corrupt our children pedophiles? Yep. Aaron said, they are all cursed, David. They are trapped here and cannot leave. They try to make humans feel trapped, but the soul is untouched by anything they do or we do other. That's interesting. I'm not sure that anyone is trapped, but I do know that there is an allegation that there are inverts that, like, basically the only thing that they say is keeping them from heaven is being inverted. So they claim that they lean towards the purification teachings and all of this stuff, and that the only reason that they can't get to heaven is because they're abominations to God. So that is an interesting thing, and also adds another element of, like, you won't let them in, so they spend time corrupting your creation and doing things that go against you. On top of the fact that they're jealous of humans already for being replaced by humans, like, we have God's attention and they don't. They've been, like, put off into the background and not allowed to be seen, not having God's attention. Just like on Toy Story, where Andy gets a new toy and the old toy goes up on the toy shelf and has, sadness and jealousy issues because they're not the attention anymore. Missy says Aussie pilot this week stated there's no curve, it's flat. When I went up into planes before, I've asked the pilots where the curvature is, and they say you have to be higher. You don't, though. They don't know what they're talking about. They're only just repeating what they have been told. And if the Earth was a 24,901 circumference sphere, you should be able to see plenty of curvature from an airplane, and it's completely flat. You actually need 60, for every 60 miles of distance, you would need a half a mile of curvature to make that ball. And, so we shouldn't be seeing things 60 plus miles away over large bodies of water, like lighthouses. All of these things really don't even make any sense on the globe because you have to be, like, right up on the lighthouse to even really see it. So, yeah. Hey, Neil, how's it going? David says, our soul is being corrupted, though, and we have to fight back and force a heaven on earth. Yes, agreed. That's ultimately what we came here for. Like, so many religions are focused on us leaving, like getting out of here, going to heaven or whatever. Well, many souls came. Like, you may have already been there and you chose to come to this world. It's like understanding why this world is existing and why we're doing what we're doing is important because of all of these traps, right? Like, so many people are focused on going to heaven when even in the Bible, the Christ talks about, the meek will inherit the kingdom of earth. It's a battle over earth, and whether earth is something that makes our Creator proud or if it continues to slip into darkness. And especially the people that, would be focused on getting to heaven and being pure and doing the right thing. If all of these people check out and choose not to come back in, who's going to save Sophia from darkness? Who's going to bear light in the darkness and save souls? Not even just Sophia's, but other souls too. Like, Aaron says, David, the soul is the observer. We can only we can corrupt it if we allow it, but we keep coming back until we get it right many, many times. Yeah. I personally don't believe that this is about, getting it right in the way that other gurus teach, but rather a fight for Sophia and this reality. Aaron says they, the inverted, sell their souls through their actual rituals, binding themselves in curses. Humans are under karmic law, aka samsara. We keep coming back until we graduate and move on. Okay, my chat just jumped. Sorry, I'm scrolling up to see the chat.
Breakfast burrito?
Okay. Hey, Cloud Panther, how are you? Aaron says most of it is fear mongering to David, that is true to some, always trying to make us scared and submit to being covered in innocent blood because we're afraid of eternal hell because we've been told that we can never be good enough and we're born sinners, David says our souls are being darkened and corrupted by the evil. We must actively put a stop to it. We have no choice once we wake up. Yep. Aaron says, the Lord is our shepherd and we are his sheep. Even those not consciously aware and awake, we wake when the time is right and we are ready. I think that some souls actually never wake up. So I'm not really, that would be sad to be a soul that keeps coming into this world and going through the same things and like you never wake up. Aaron says, our ego is being corrupted, sir. The soul cannot be corrupted. It is immortal, even on this plane. They can program the physical ego, but not the soul. The souls that get lost are the ones that are invert. Some interesting, different perspectives here. I actually believe that the true ego is the true self or the true soul. And I also don't believe that the soul is immortal, but we're all looking for the answers, aren't we? Aspect 670 says to Aaron, I think the spirit is immune from corruption, but the soul can be ruined. Interesting. Okay. Mike says the Bible does not say thou shalt not kill except animals. Yes. There is a article here on the Nazarene Way where it talks about, let me see if this is it. Thou shalt not kill is what this is actually called. The exact Hebrew wording of this biblical phrase accurately translates to any kind of killing whatsoever. So let me put here, thou shalt not kill. And those satanic families, the ego can manifest on all planes, meaning we carry over somewhat from previous lives, including previous memory. But the soul itself is untouched because it is beyond this place. Interesting perspective, okay? Aspect 670 says, when is the next Reading chess tournament? I am not sure. I'm actually working on organizing a simul for Matt to play to see if anybody can beat him. He has won multiple tournaments of mine, so he's kind of like the one to beat. So I'm gonna try to see if I can throw a bunch of guys at him playing and see if anyone can beat him. So that'll be fun. But I don't have a specific date for that set yet. Aaron says, Atma, soul, Brahma, Lord, man, soul, Brahman, source. Okay, they cannot corrupt the Christ within. The person must engage in ritual and curses. Only the elite do this for the most part, I find. Anywho, every experience is new after purification, but some of the ego remains, our personality, which can be corrupted over and over, but the soul remains the same, the observer or watcher, now since the fall. Okay. Interesting. Aspect 670 says people are being turned into cyborgs with cell phones. Yep, something like that. Joe Rogan is controlled opposition, though, as you probably already know. David says, Aaron, the soul will go on, true, but everything we do here will impact it. We can corrupt or purify our soul through what we do here. I agree with that. Aaron says, no, to disagree. The NPCs of this world are the unenlightened still asleep. God protects their soul as well as their minds. God restores all in the next experience. His promise. Only the ego is affected. That's an interesting outlook. Okay. David says NPCs, non-player non-playing characters, whatever the heck these are, don't really exist. Any one of these souls could wake up and start playing this game we are in. I also teach that NPCs are not, basically, they're just a cover up for inverts. Mystic Sage says purification, illumination, self realization, aka union with God, meaning we do the will of God over our ego, from egoism to intuition. Once the lower is purified, we have the illuminated soul. They have no power over such souls. NPCs are unenlightened souls, not yet in the game. They are not ready, they are not soulless, but they will be enlightened in another experience. Okay. Interesting. All souls return to the Creator eventually. We all come from one soul and return to our Lord. Okay. This is definitely a lot of information to take in. Okay. David says, Aaron, the key to understand is they want to try and program us to leave, like our souls consented to come here just to leave. We came here for a spiritual war, yes. We are in samsara until we are ready and start to build a living soul while here through many experiences. Once we are in union with God, we are no longer bound by karma. Interesting. Well, I actually believe that karma is, part of basically the mother's rule system in the world. You do something and something happens back to you. And I feel like she is the one that is ultimately, controlling these things. And that being said, if we are in union in God and what we're supposed to do, his will for us would be leading us down a path that doesn't involve racking up bad karma for ourselves, right? So in a way, it definitely would take us out of that to an extent. But I think that karma is an intrinsic part of this actual reality, and it's not just bad things, but it's also good things. If you do good things, then you get good karma back. Mike said, that's why I said about vinegar ends up negating our wonderful vegan diet. I believe the powers that be told us salads are good for us while offering us vinegar to negate the positive aspects. Okay. Thank you for, putting that together in a concise point. I definitely understand. Yeah. Right. I actually don't know. I don't really believe that we're supposed to mix foods really anyways. Like if you were in this Garden of Eden, you would probably eat an apple and then it would digest. You might eat some berries, but it's you're not going to have a knife and mixing utensils and dressings to put all of these things together in a bowl. And there are also a lot of people, I don't know a lot of people, but there are some people out there that talk about different food pairings and how different foods create different negative reactions. Not just this, or even different types of vegetables paired together, or different types of fruits and vegetables can cause issues. So it's pretty interesting to look into all of that scientific aspect of it. But ideally, we would just be essentially mono fruit eating. So it's your body only has to register that you're eating grapes, and it's just one very easily digested and integrated. Whereas if you're eating a whole conglomeration of things, your body has to break it down, and it's a lot more complex, register that it's having all of these different things coming into it. So it makes it a little bit harder. Okay. I'm going to skim a little bit what's going on here. Missy says, naughty recipe, medjool dates open in half. Ooh, vegan peanut butter scoop. Put a walnut on the peanut and melt vegan chocolate over it. Into the freezer, comes out like a Snickers bar. Whoa, that sounds really good. I'm trying to think. Dates are probably not keto, but you could probably get away with having one one snack every now and then, and it wouldn't actually hurt you. So moderation is definitely key to not only life in most areas, but also keto and our diets. Purify, illuminate union with God, first, second, third degree of all ancient mystery schools, including Freemasonry today. Universal teaching on how to find our Atman. I'm not really sure how to. Or build a soul while we're here. It's kind of an interesting word, though, like saying build a soul as if we don't have a soul. Unless you mean like not build as in you don't have, but like add character to the soul, or grow in experiences, I guess, maybe. Ben said I would be pretty suspicious about following any Freemason teachings. It's highly satanic. Freemasonry has been infiltrated and corrupted for a very, very long time. And as far as the biblical entities being expected to sacrifice animals, God never commanded them to sacrifice animals. These teachings, well, there are two separate things. So one allegation is that when Moses brought the Israelites out of slavery, they were basically dead set on sacrificing animals. This is something that they learned in slavery. It's the whole story of the 10 Commandments, and when he comes down and they've built a calf, right? So one allegation goes that Moses said, since I can't get you to stop killing animals, at least only sacrifice to God. So that's one allegation. And the other allegation, which I have a article here for you that you could read. Let me see those. It's right here. The Levite animal sacrifice cult that originated with Ezra and his great-grandfather Hilkiah imposed the law of animal sacrifice under penalty of death. So they literally came in and said, you have to sacrifice animals or your life is threatened, right? The whole story of Passover is that Christ would not participate in this ritual of killing the lamb. So they found fault with him on legal grounds and were able to ultimately do what they did. Okay, this is animal sacrifice cult. Okay. So yeah, there's also, I'd like to go back to the Freemason thing. There's a whole agenda like going on of blame the Freemasons when the real blame belongs on the inverts. Some of them are Freemasons. Others say they are Jews but lie. Others are on TV preaching Christianity. Others are head Buddhists, head Muslim, head. They're in every group, every organization, every religion, and they have corrupted all of them. So yeah, they're just basically trying to get us to focus on one group, whether it's Freemasons or fake Jews or anything, rather than the actual inverted Satanists that are the problem, right? Sorry, my thing just jumped around, jumped to the bottom. Ben asked Aaron if he is a Hindu. Oh, Aaron says Masonry is not secretive. It is more an illusion of secrecy. There have been monitors since the early 1900s to read what they know, which isn't much. Most Masons are social Masons, not mystics today. Yeah, and that's where your average human's going to be, right? These bottom levels, they don't even know. Like, if they knew what the rulers of their brotherhood were, they would not support it. So the top levels have to be in secret, because if the bottom levels knew, they would fight back. Aaron says he's not Hindu, but a Caucasian from the West, former Roman Catholic, now non-sectarian sage and practicing mystic and philosopher. Hi JM, thank you. Says I'm beautiful. Thank you. Ben says most of that mysticism seems to be rooted in Hindu beliefs. And Aaron said Samsara Buddhist and Hindu prior. Okay. Mysticism is the grandfather of what they call science today. It was everywhere prior to the Roman takeover. Yeah, mysticism and, the knowledge of, like, they used to say, oh, if you're sick, then you have demons. Like, yeah, that's the truth. You're being afflicted by demons. So let's figure out what you did to consent to that. Because if you are afflicting all of these other animals, you deserve to be afflicted. That demon is actually, like, seen as a hero to the animals. So kind of brings in an interesting perspective of what demons actually are. And when you go vegan, you'll see that it's mostly humans. One's complaining about demons too. Anyways, Aaron says, I am impartial, unbiased, and study as many philosophies and religions as I can, tolerant of all faiths, even non-believers like Christ was. Missy says, karma is not coming for you as you create karma in your reality through choices. I can definitely agree with that. Whatever we put in will come back to us. And I think that's fair. Like, we shouldn't just be able to do a bunch of evil and get away with it. And, getting rewarded for doing good is a good thing too. So Ben said to stay away from the apples and eat it. Yes, don't want to do that. Aspect 670 says, Ben, how do you know Eden has apples? Ooh. Hey, Joel, how's it going? Hi, Queen. Greetings from Costa Rica. How is the weather there, Joel? There are a lot of tropical storms and flooding and stuff going on that I have seen. So I'm not really sure how Costa Rica is doing with all of that. Aaron says, karma just regulates our lessons, one life at a time. We move out of karma when we put the will of the Creator before our own and then do everything with God for the right reasons. Kyle says, yes, melons should never be paired with berries in the same sitting. Is that any kind of berries or like strawberries or blueberries? Like, I'm not sure if I do, but I really like cantaloupe and melons and strawberries. So hopefully that's not what it is. Oh no. Ben says to ask Adam and Eve about the apples in Eden. Aaron said, it's when we try to do things without God, we get into some trouble. Again, supporting the ego, not the authentic self, the Atman or Atma soul. Aspect 670 says we don't know what the forbidden fruit was. There are definitely different allegations of it not being a specific fruit, but being different acts. Some people I have heard believe that, Satan had sexual relations with Adam. Some believe that Adam had sexual relations with Satan. Some believe a lot of interesting things. What I will say about it, I like the Eastern belief system that Adam and Eve were like clothed in royalty in the Garden of Eden, and that they actually lost those royal garments and became naked when they were cast out of the Garden of Eden. It's kind of an interesting inversion of the classic story. But there's also like one of the verses, I think it's Ezekiel, that they try to associate Lucifer and Satan. It basically talks about the Garden of Eden and like just some interesting allegations about this entity and their appearance and some other things like that. So it's interesting, but I do not believe that Satan and Lucifer are the same entity by any means. Aaron says somebody's having toast. It smells really good. Just like, toasted bread. I'm not going to be able to eat bread, so I'm sure that the demons are going to come along and make it smell really good, make it very tempting. I brought an apple with me so that I could eat. Ben says Jesus was the second Adam. He corrected the fall of Adam and Eve by christening our blood. I'm not really sure what christening our blood means in that aspect or any of that. I personally, I like not doing anything with blood anymore, so I'd be interested to know more about what you mean about christening blood and all of that. Aaron says, Christ's spirit is within ourselves, the same spirit, and we have the potential to grow his seed or germ, the word made flesh, but only if we purify, then illuminate. Where'd it go? Illuminate and self-realize or union with God. Purify, yes. JM says, hey, Anana, I'm not vegan, but I try and stay away from junk. Is a moderate diet good? Well, I am a very strict vegan, and I don't believe that eating any animal products is okay or healthy. So I can't really... Is it healthier than eating junk food? Yes, but it's still corrupting your mind, body, and soul. So I can't say that it's good in any way, you know? Aaron says, first degree entered apprentice, purify the lower cardinal self or mind. Ben says those Levites up to their priestly tricks in regards to the animal sacrifice cult. Yes. And then you also have Jeremiah 8:8 that basically says, well, I got to look it up right now. It talks about Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations. Okay. Chapter 8:8. How do you say, we are wise and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribe is in vain. There are other translations that literally talk about the lying scribe's pen, like they have gone through and made changes to this text. So personally, I don't trust any of these books blindly, but as far as what changed my life, it's the Gospel of the Holy 12. Like, I even have little bookmarks in here, and like, this is what I will live and die by, you know, in regards to my beliefs on Christ and veganism and stuff. There's no going back. So people are constantly trying to like get you back into mainstream Christianity and like plead the blood of Jesus over you. Like, that's a curse, in my opinion. If you are cursing me to be covered with innocent blood, I have a very big issue with that. I do not want to be covered in innocent blood. I do not want to be associated with any of that evil. Being covered in innocent blood is literally the opposite of being white and pure as snow. You can't be both at the same time, right? So the whole religious outlook is skewed. I've not only had Christians curse me to be under the blood of Jesus, but also like the blood over intense Satanists have literally tried to do this ritual with their own blood, putting it on my name and stuff. Like, this really, really makes me angry. Anyways. Okay. Aaron says, second degree fellowship of the craft illuminates the higher self or higher attributes through soul work refining our higher faculties. Third degree master mason, we realize we are not separate from God, and our will shifts from our own to the creator's, union with God, doing the will of God. Our self-recognition of the soul over the ego is key. I've read 3 monitors and know all degrees up to the 22nd. There is no degree for the 33rd. Interesting. Aaron says the first 3 degrees are the most important. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what corruptions have seeped in, right? Because obviously the different levels and purification teachings are going to be a good thing, but in this world, like, everything is corrupted at this point. So even when things are like presented to us as purifying, everything's been corrupted over time. So very frustrating. Aaron says the first 3 degrees are the most important. All others are just rites of passage, and in my opinion, set up to corrupt Freemasonry. Yeah, adding a lot more of requirements and rules and regulations, just like in this book. Let's see. The Christ is talking about. I opened right here. Okay. And there came unto him certain of the scribes and Pharisees who had seen one of his disciples eat with unwashed hands. And they found fault, for the Jews eat not except they have first washen their hands, and many other things observe they in the washing of cups and of vessels and of tables. So they're saying that the Jews have a bunch of rituals regarding washing and all this stuff. Just wait for the point. And they said, why walk not all thy disciples after the traditions of the elders? For we saw one who did eat with unwashed hands. And Christ said, well hath Moses commanded you to be clean. That's great. Being clean is good. But, and to keep your bodies clean and your vessels clean. But ye have added the things which oft times cannot be observed by every one at all times and in all places. Hearken unto me, therefore, not only unclean things entering into the body of man defile him, but much more do evil thoughts and unclean, which pour from the heart of man, defile the inner man, and defile others also. Therefore, take heed to your thoughts and cleanse your hearts, and let your food be pure. These things ought ye do, and not to leave the others undone. Whoso breaks the law of purification of necessity are blameless. So, if you are in a situation where you can't wash your hands, like, even if the customs of the people are you must wash your hand, like, God's not going to find you blameless because he sees the situation that you're in. He's not like this strict judge who it's like, if you don't wash your hands, no matter what the situation is, you're in trouble. Like, that's ridiculous. But these scribes and Pharisees were all about, keeping the letter of the law and make sure that you do every single thing. And if they catch you off, well, then what? You have to go sacrifice animals? Like, what's going to happen? So that kind of reminded me of what you're kind of talking about, Aaron, about different rules and regulations required to become part of the brotherhood or the group that weren't originally part of the requirement, right? Ben says all the higher degrees up to 36 are just political appointments. Yeah, something like that. Just a secretive order of mainly inverts and child abusers. Okay. Jill says today is sunny and windy. Okay. Have you guys had any flooding or anything like that recently? Any storms? Aaron says there are 97 degrees in Rights. Wow. That's crazy. JM says it's snowy and cold up here in, is that Arkansas? I don't really know. Oh no. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to get off of here soon. I've been on for 2 hours, but hi Laura, how are you? Glad that you can make it in. My chat just jumped to the end here. Missy said any melons are its own meal, not to mix with other fruits for digestive system. Okay, the different fruit juices, I guess, combining in the belly. But I do understand a melon, like even just a mini watermelons really aren't exactly of God's design when they're modifying these things. But I'm saying even with just a mini watermelon, if you cut it and just sit there and scoop it out, it's very filling. It's pretty amazing how full you can feel with just eating a bunch of fruit. And that's the great thing about fruit. It's like you don't have to count calories. You're not going to get fat just eating a bunch of grapes. You're not going to you're going to be purifying yourself as you get to stuff your face. And on top of that, you literally don't have to do any prep work. You don't have to do any cooking. Like, that's awesome. Sign me up. Um, Kyle said the melon, yes, any form of berry should not be paired with any form of melon. Interesting. The melons and berries not being paired, I learned that the hard way. Okay, well, I will definitely take your advice then, because I do not want to learn that the hard way. Ben said there are contextual differences between Lucifer, the fallen archangel, and Satan, the great deceiver. Yes, I do agree, but I also lean towards the Essene teachings, which actually I'll leave here. The Nazarene Way has so many different great articles that talk about the Essene Christian Lucifer. Okay. Different Essene teachings, and I have really connected with the Essenes, so that's kind of the way that I lean towards. But I think that the modern, Essene brotherhoods have been infiltrated and corrupted as well. Like, nothing has been able to retain, complete purity, unfortunately. JM says, don't eat lemons and berries at the same time. Got it. No, melons. I'm not sure about lemons and berries. They might cause some issues too, though. What are your thoughts on Nostradamus? I haven't particularly thought too much of it, but I kind of see all of these things as like self-fulfilling prophecies, like the powers that be make a prophecy and then they make it come to pass. So yeah. Laura said covered in the lamb. Yes, covered in the lamb's blood. Ben said, I think it refers to the rendering of the veils. Christ's sacrifice reordered the world and ended the need for animal sacrifice. What need is there for animal sacrifice, though? Like, there's no need to do that to begin with. That's my argument, is that God, like, in order for God to forgive you, he doesn't need actual blood to be shed. He's not a bloodthirsty psychopath. He's like a reasonable entity. What he wants you to do is stop sinning, repent and make amendments. So if if the sin was against another human, you go and do what you can to make up for that, right? Like, you acknowledge that you did something wrong and you try to make it better, not going and killing an animal. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, what is that going to do? How is that going to change you, besides for making you more corrupt? Because now, not only did you sin against your human brother, but now you went and sinned against your animal brother. So it's like double the sin. Laura said, Ben, I think you're actually right. I'd forgotten why they call him the lamb. Yes. And like I was saying, in this text, they actually talk about him not refuse, or I didn't mean to say him not, but he refused to participate in the sacrifice of the lamb. So that's why he was ultimately killed. Ben said, Sabbath breakers and non-kosher diners tread a very dangerous path in the Old Testament. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier about all these different laws and stuff that were imposed on the people, and like, it was a dangerous path for them, especially when your government, these religious rulers in charge, are holding this power over you to influence you into different beliefs and religions. Even like the Crusades or whatever, like where they're forcing Christianity on. I don't know if it was the Crusades or not, whatever the words are, that they, went to countries and literally forced Christianity on these people. Like, these things have happened. It's not just with Christianity. Like, pretty much every religion has skeletons in the closet of bad things that has happened. But yeah. Hi, Dimitri. How's it going? Hello from France. What's the crack? I'm not sure what that means. Okay. Aaron says Lucifer retired trying to tempt the Christ. It is Ahriman, aka Hasatan now. That is the problem. Interesting. I don't believe that Lucifer was trying to tempt the Christ, except for in purification. I would actually make the argument that the real Lucifer would be the mother of the Christ, because for my teachings, Lucifer is just a nickname for Venus, who is the maiden, the virgin, the mother who bears the sun, sun, in the sky, and on earth she bears the son. So I would argue that Venus is the true Lucifer and that she is not evil at all. Mike says, as a vegan, I eat a ton and still maintain my initial weight. Wow, 45 pounds. That is amazing. Initial weight loss. Wow. Congratulations on that. Thank you for the link, Kyle. Let's see what's going on. In the past, Lucifer. Wait, where'd it go? And Ahriman worked together. Jesus in the Essenes was tempted by both at one point. Okay. Looks like I'm adopting another cat, a cat without a tail. Oh no, what happened? Just took in a cat the neighborhood is neglecting. Wow. What happened to their tail? That's sad. Ben said, I read a fascinating article that theorizes that there are two distinct gods from Jewish history in the Old Testament, the Lord and Yahweh being distinct tribal gods who were combined by later worshippers. Interesting. There are a lot of people that do talk about two different gods in the Old Testament. The way that I personally see it is that there's one creator, and then there are satanic corruptions to the teachings. So, I mean, I guess if you want to call him the other god, then that would, I guess, where my beliefs would come into play. But it's also really interesting because there's a lot of stuff in the Old Testament against Baal, Baal, and, even in the Truther community. But if you look into the actual mythology, Baal is the god of life and procreation who fights against Mot, the god of death and sterility. But we're taught to see Baal as Satan. Satan's not a god of life and fertility. He's a sodomite. So the god of death and sterility definitely, aligns with that. So it's kind of an interesting to try to examine these things outside of being committed to the biblical narrative, which so many still are, and so many truthers still are, haven't even questioned the Bible to see, the authenticity of books in there. There are allegations that Paul, either Paul himself or Paul's associates, actually forged 1st and 2nd Peter to basically put out that Paul was being promoted when they actually weren't. So it's really interesting to see a lot of different allegations about this book. I definitely no longer believe it as truth. And yeah. Ben, I actually have studied Judaism. I was a Torah follower. In 2015, when I woke up to flat Earth, I started to question the Gospels and say, what did Christ actually do? Because to be a Christian, you need to actually do what he did and not just sit around and say that you're covered in his blood. That's not what it is. And the Christ was a Jew. He followed the Torah. So, yeah. I started following the Old Testament laws, and then that's when I found the Essenes and their form of Judaism, which is the only one that I find to be on point. Aaron says at Ben, Paul corrupted the Bible. Yahweh and Jehovah are names of the Creator. I explain in Hinduism for clarification. Okay. Interesting. All come from source, but our Lord is Yah. Yeah, so I definitely agree, like Yah being the creator. But I also see source as a point in time rather than a specific entity. So that is definitely a little bit different than other people. Mike said, I believe the kosher diet is one of the biggest frauds. Looking at how they slaughtered animals made me go vegan. That is awesome. Yeah, what's that quote about? If slaughterhouses had windows, that people would be vegan. Like, they have cut us off from what happens, and that's why people eat babies for breakfast with no cares. Aaron says, nothing I'm sharing is my opinion. The Essenes are where the Lucifer and Aramon tempted Christ, not my own perspective. Do you know where exactly that is spoken about in the Essenes? Because I've never read about Lucifer tempting, Lucifer being someone tempting. Missy says, loved to catch up with everybody. Everyone made my morning on a sunny Monday to see you and Anna. Yay! Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time. I'm probably going to get off of here as well. Always so much wisdom shared. Be blessed all. Catch you all on Facebook for some transvestigation. Hee love you all. Awesome. I hope you have a great day. Dimitri said, my Irish girlfriend teached that expression. It means something like that. Thought I'd pop in to see what the crack was. Interesting. Let me see what it means. Oh. Crack. Enjoyable social activity or a good time. Interesting. Or crack. Crack, yeah. Huh. I have not heard that before, so you learn something new every day, huh?
You give everyone one, so even me. I give you like fours. I never give anyone a five.
Okay, let me. Essene teachings, Rudolf Steiner temple. Okay, so I have not gotten into Rudolf Steiner's teachings. I actually only am just going off of like the books of theirs that I have read. So.
Do you want some like cookies? There's too much.
That's an interesting allegation about Lucifer being purified for helping us. Doesn't exactly fall in line with the other from the Nazarene way teaching, so I'd have to look into that more. Ben said the idea that Jews didn't need to sacrifice animals is just wrong. There are whole sections on how it is performed and why. So my point is actually that their religion was corrupted and overtaken by a group that forced the animal sacrifices on them. So it didn't come from God. Like original real Jews, real Judaism is not about blood sacrifices. Only the corrupt versions are. Aaron said there is no time. Time exists only in the realm of time earth. Well, I will have to disagree with you on that, because I believe time not only exists in this realm but outside, and is constantly going forward. Like you can't go back in time, you can't go forward. Yeah. And a lot of these things in our realm are reflections of the outside realm, like duality and like our souls being either male or female, and having that being, mirrored in the mirror, if you will. Dimitri said, some people seem to have fun in the background. I believe you are a chess player, but you prefer serious subjects. Yes, I do. Ben said Satan / Lucifer tempted Christ. Yes, we're talking about, if you read the article I wrote, that Lucifer is not the same as Satan. So, yeah. Mike said, be well, beautiful Anana. Always a pleasure. Yes, you too, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Aaron said Jesus also went after two Essenes questioning their will. He said by the Essenes practicing such strict practice that by doing this hasten Hasatan and Lucifer would attack other people who were not aware. That's interesting. Ben says it's one of the classic biblical flat earth quotes. They went up to the mountain and Satan showed him all the kings of the world. Yes, so Satan did, but Satan and Lucifer aren't the same entity. So that's the confusion that we're discussing. Aaron said, God is now, never past or future, always now, hence live in the moment. There is no time like now. Gotcha. Satan is a cherub, formerly now a demon. Lucifer is of light, fallen light, now restored under Sophia. Interesting. You won't find this stuff in any Bible that is purely esoteric mystery schools. Yes. Well, and even in the Bible, there's nowhere that Lucifer is identified as or with Satan. And if you read the article, it says that the translators deliberately translated like the same word to mean two different things in different contexts so that they could promote their agenda. So it's definitely necessary to understand all of that and to dig deep into what we've been taught. So yeah, I think I'm going to jump off of here because we've been on for a long time. I got some things to do today. So thank you all for joining the live chat. Hopefully you will catch up with me on Facebook. And until next time, make sure that you are staying away from sugar.